Goodwill, thrift shop workers, what are some of the strangest things you've found in the donations? My aunt's a cop and had to go investigate a donated hand grenade. Used journals. Highlights include someone recounting the time they bit someone, and a tale of an explosive funeral. They make for a good read. But why wouldn't you throw them out? My coworker found a 12-year-old's journal. It was a goldmine of middle school drama. Also had a lot of stories about Jacob from Twilight and wishing she was a werewolf. We read through the whole book and cried laughing. I think years from now that same girl will wonder where that journal is, and desperately wish she had it again. Not something I've found particularly, but something very strange. Every month and a half or so, a man would come by right before we closed and would donate a single blank CD. Every single time. My coworkers and I would always put it in and see if anything was on it. There never was. We've had some nipple clamps on a chain, a rampant rabbit with car charger, a jug in the shape of a tit, and a book with a hole in it that you stick your in for a novelty puppet show. Oh, and there was also a mobile phone with a bunch of photos of a local policeman wearing his girlfriend's underwear. I securely deleted those. He owes me a get-out-of-jail-free card for that. Not me, but my cousin, in a big dump of stuff, found an entire box of dildos. Like, all kinds. From vibrator ones to ones clearly made from specific molds. In this box of absurdity was one with like 30 condoms on it. Weirdest shit I ever saw. OFC, they threw them away. Edit. We knew some were from custom molds because most of them were clear or colored, but a few were very realistic. A high school diploma still in its leather case. We were selling it for $1.39. Also a porn movie inside a Clifford the Big Red Dog DVD case. I really wanna make a big red dong joke, but I'm not sure of the best way to phrase it. A classmate of mine found a human skull that was donated. It still had remnants of human on it. They reported it to the police and turns out it was part of an active murder investigation one state over. I did find a shirt with a huge picture of a dead fly on it. My manager said she came to the shop once and there were bin bags waiting at the front of the store. It was obvious to her going through the bag that a guy had just tipped all of his ex-girlfriend's possessions into bin bags and had donated them to us. All of her possessions, vibrators included. I was sorting out some donated items and come across an unusual set of tools. Through some research, we discovered that it was a full transorbital lobotomy tool set. It got donated to a local university for display. Apparently, a vintage set in good condition can sell for around $1.000. Wife worked there as a teenager. Worst thing she found was a newborn baby who just passed. A woman high on drugs gave birth in the street. Freaked out and dumped her baby there. Wife found the baby, called police, and the woman was arrested for neglect among other charges. Managed to dodge murder charges somehow. When I was about 16, I worked at Goodwill for about 6 months. There was this old homeless man who used to try and sneak inside to sleep and stuff like that. Every day he'd get kicked out pretty quick by one of my female coworkers. After about a month of working there with her, the homeless man came up to the counter she was working at, gave her a Target bag filled with rocks, and left. We open the bag and find a doll underneath about a layer of rocks. It was so friggin' creepy. The doll looked exactly like her. We flipped it over and the back had her full name sewn into it. She quit about a couple days later because she was worried about that homeless man coming back to the store. Was doing community service at a Goodwill. A Vietnamese guy pulls up, drops off a couple trash bags and dips. We start looking through it all and I find a full 90-quart bottle of 10 mg oxycodone pills. So how was the rest of your week? He doesn't remember. A trio of mariachi band figurines that were made of prunes. I've found a ton of weird stuff. The old ladies I worked with called stuffed animals stuffies, and I always thought it was strange. Well, one day we get a big box, 2x2, labeled stuffies. They opened it up and it was full of dildos, butt plugs, handcuffs, all kind of sex toys. I've never heard so much hootin' and hollerin' in my life. Sounded like a pack of coyotes. Edit. I also found a VHS tape of Lost in Space when I was talking to a coworker. Pulled out the tape and $70 cash fell out. Maybe someone forgot about their hiding place. Thanks for the silver, homie. Found a cup shaped like a man with a giant erect. Snickered at it and pointed it out to my coworkers while we were clocking out. My manager freaked out and took it off the shelf. I feel bad that I got man cup taken off the market. I'm sure somebody would have treasured him. I was 16 and in charge of going through donations, pricing them, and putting them out for sale. I came across something I didn't recognize, so I did what I always did and slapped $0.25 on it and put it out. A few hours later a lady brought it back to my boss in the donation room and told her we shouldn't be selling crack pipes. Oops. I worked in Goodwill at donations, and maybe the most unique thing I found was a framed photo autographed by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not a worker but at the local Salvation Army, I opened a drawer and found a used tampon. Finally, a question I can answer. I once found a signed first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Strange in why would anyone give it away. Managed to buy it for 50p and it's honestly my prized possession today. My sister's boyfriend worked in a small charity shop in Tottenham. They sold a vase for £8 that was unpolished and assumed to be copper. Turned out it was solid gold worth 500k. I worked in donations. In the same day we got a pickled baby tiger shark and a coin purse made from a kangaroo scrotum. I was working at Goodwill in North Carolina and someone traded in a box copy of Stadium Events for the original Nintendo. I didn't know anything about it. A lady bought it and resold it to a nearby shop for something like $10. I found out because a news team came in about it reporting the story and I was the one who processed the donation. I really shit the bed on that one. My mom used to work for Goodwill. She's found rather neat items. One time she found $5 in someone's old jeans. She was kind enough to return them to its rightful owner by looking into who donated the items. And she found a hand grenade in an old jacket. I managed one for 3 years. Paddle boat. Aquarium with water and fish in it. Hundreds of pounds of bird seed. Thousands of packets of assorted flower and vegetable seeds. 365 copies of Return from Witch Mountain. Mum worked at a charity store. Wedding dresses were donated depressingly often. The strangest thing was some antique Victorian underwear in perfect condition. She ended up keeping that one after clearing it with her boss. My boyfriend volunteered at a local thrift shop for a little while. One day he was going through donation boxes and found a peculiar ceramic mission with liquid in it. After a little research it turned out to be 30Y Christian Brothers brandy. Only 100 bottles were made in celebration for their anniversary. Since the thrift store can't sell liquor, he was able to snag it. The brandy was so good. Last week I was in Goodwill and I found a small booklet called Porn for Mothers. I opened the book expecting full-on smut, but it was a bunch of photos of attractive, 20 to 30-year-old men taking care of a baby saying things like, "Don't worry honey, I'll take care of the baby tonight. You go out with your friends to happy hour. You deserve the night."